everyone, it's your friend Thinknoodles, and welcome to Ask Think episode number 174, March of 2016. Guys, I gotta say, last month's question for you was, I think, my favorite one ever. And that's because it brought back so many memories of different games through my childhood. And we're gonna start with Dr. Cookie, whose favorite retro game is Donkey Kong because of competitions at the local arcade. Grady Rich said Earthbound because it's really funny and quirky and pretty similar to Undertale. And I have heard that a lot. And since I enjoyed Undertale so much, people have been saying I should play Earthbound. And the greatest gamer said Doom because it's cool. And wow, Doom, I remember I was in high school and my friends and I would play. I mean, we couldn't play it over the internet. It was LAN only. So like anytime we had any break, like even like a 20-minute break between periods or lunch period, we would always take over the computer lab and play Doom until the bell rang. Chalisea Frigga says, I don't know, it's a tie between Final Fantasy VII, Soul Calibur, and Space Invaders. I'm not old, I'm just old school, and there is a difference. And Final Fantasy VII, amazing game. So many memories, and I'm going to use that. I am now not old, I am just old school. There's a difference, guys. Pablo is awesome said, my favorite retro game is probably Duck Hunt. It's a classic. I remember Duck Hunt too. Came with my NES, and I can still, when I think of it, I can still remember the click, like the click of the feedback of the Nintendo gun. It's hard to explain if you've never used the gun, but if you have, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Sean Batchley said his favorite retro game by far is Street Fighter, even though I wasn't around for it, I still have it. And I remember when Street Fighter 2 came out for the Super NES, and wow, my friends and I, again in high school, but maybe I was in middle school. Yeah, I think middle school. But either way, we spent so many hours playing that game when it came out, because, you know, it was like the arcade. I mean, the graphics weren't as good as the arcade, but a lot of the gameplay was the same, and we played it so much. Kyla Brillant says this month's question, Cubert, and there is no why. It's Cubert, for crying out loud. 95 Rage Fire says my favorite retro game is Commander Keen 4 because of all the memories I have of playing with my brother. No, wait, 5. Actually, I like 2, but 3 is cool too, and so is the first one, and I agree. And before I saw this answer, I had completely forgotten about Commander Keen, and it brought back all these memories just like it brings back for you. This is why I love this question so much. Alyssa Bear 15 says my favorite retro game is Mortal Kombat because it gives me a place to feel safe even though it has blood and everything. I don't care about that. And I think it's amazing the first Mortal Kombat was made by 4 people, and I'm the only girl in my class that likes that stuff. It's hard to be different, but I'm not going to lie about that. Mulan and Mortal Kombat, the original. I remember a friend of mine had it for, I don't remember which Sega system. I think it was just Genesis. And we figured out, I think there's a way that you could make it so it turned on gore mode or whatever, where you could do the finishing moves, like Sub-Zero's finishing move, where he like pulls the spine out of the oh man, and you could barely see the spine because the graphics were so bad, but it was still really cool. Sup Penguin HD says my favorite retro video game is Jazz Jackrabbit 2 because of the cool music and cool concept, and this is just like the Commander Keen one. I completely forgotten about Jazz Jackrabbit, but I loved it too. The graphics were great, the music was amazing. I remember playing that game. Miner 9000 Roll says my favorite retro video game is Super Smash Bros. for N64 because it has all his favorite Nintendo characters, at least from that moment. Yes, I played it on N64. I got it. It's my dad's. Quite a few people said Pokemon, and I would guess it would have to be Red and Blue to come out before 2000, I think. And then a bunch of people said the original Legend of Zelda. And oh man, I can't count the number of times I played that game over and over and over. I loved it. A couple of people said their favorite retro game is Galaga, which I always loved as a cabinet game. He-Man Cat 24 said, my favorite retro game, that's easy, Sonic the Hedgehog. For the win, I played all the originals, 1, 2, and 3, and Sonic and Knuckles are by far the best. And I remember my friend had Sonic on his Sega, and I had Nintendo stuff, and I was really envious because I loved that game, and I thought it was so cool. It's like side-scrolling, but you can like go around the loops and go upside down and stuff, and I can hear the sound of the rings in my ears right now. Amy McIntyre says her favorite retro game is Frogger. It was the first Crossy Road, and I love how we can go back to a retro game and say it was the first one of a current game. A bunch of people said Super Mario 64 because of the graphics, the controls, the storyline. I mean, it was a really great game, and I remember when it came out, I think it was the launch title for the N64, and I think I was in my second year in college, and my friend was getting it. And he called us to tell us that his dad was like driving it from where he lived, and he was gonna be there that night. So we all went to his apartment, and we were waiting for his dad to come, and his dad drove in, and we plugged it in, and we were there for hours, just, our jaws dropped with this amazing new system and an amazing new game. Zombie Bear 121 says, my favorite retro video game is Mario Kart 64 because it's so good. Without it, we wouldn't have Mario Kart 8. And Mario Kart 8 is a great game, but I would argue that Mario Kart 64 is the pinnacle of Mario Kart games. It was so good. The Minecraft Bowtie says, my favorite retro video game is Think's Life. It was definitely before 2000. My favorite part is where they get married. Oops, spoiler. You should have put spoiler alert at the beginning. Come on, man. Very funny. Now, actually the most popular choice, and I would have to see, so it's hard for me, but all those games before are kind of like favorites for me. So I would say, as far as computer games for retro, it had to be Doom because I played so much of that game. And then for cabinet games, it would be this, Pac-Man. Pac-Man, as far as, at an arcade game, in an arcade, had to be Pac-Man. And I would say for consoles, my favorite retro video game on console is The Legend of Zelda. So you guys hit them all, but I couldn't choose just one overall game. Now for next month's question, and I hope the answers are as awesome as this month. It comes to us from Rinwa, and it asks, what's your favorite thing about your life right now, and why do you think so? Amazing question. Now, before we get to the questions for me, don't forget to leave your question for me in the comments below so I can have something to answer in the next episode. Remember, only one question per comment, but you can leave as many comments as you like. Also, if the comments on this Ask Think are closed, go to the most recent Ask Think and ask your question there. Now onto the questions, and the first one is from Katie Korn, and it asks, do you still own a nebulizer, or as you called it, the machine? No, I don't. As I got older, my asthma got better, and I didn't need the nebulizer anymore. But I did need an inhaler, and I used it constantly, probably multiple times a day. Nowadays, I hardly ever use it. And over the weekend, we were in Boston, and I knew I was going to someone's house with a cat, and I thought I had forgotten my inhaler, but I found it. And I was like, you know what, let me just, I shook it, and it was about half full. And I thought, I wonder if this is expired. So, and each bottle has 200 puffs in it, right? So it had about 100 left. And to tell you how much better my asthma got, so those of you with asthma growing up and things, no promises that it'll get better, but it could. And it's gotten so much better that I looked at the expiration date on the inhaler. Remember, it's still half full. And it expired in 2009, February 2009. So it was 6 years past expiration. So I'd probably had the inhaler for 8 years and only used about half of it. So needless to say, I got a new one. But your asthma, or my asthma at the very least, got so much better as I got older. Blue Shadow RP asks, have you ever had a bad sleep schedule? And if so, how did it occur? Yes. For 5 years. And it occurred because of my wife's job. As a resident, she had to be at work very, very early. Generally, she had to be at the hospital between 5 and 5:30, depending on the day. And then also, a couple of times a week, she would work 30-hour shifts in the hospital. And that would just screw everything up. Because, well, first of all, when she was working at 5 o'clock in the morning, we had to get up at 4, 4:10, sometimes 3:45. And then we'd go to bed around, and she wouldn't get home until like 7, and then, take a shower, have dinner, watch some TV, and then it's 11 o'clock, and then you go back to, you go to bed, and you're only getting 5 hours of sleep. In addition to the shifts, the overnight shifts that she would work, for 30-hour shifts, then I would go to bed a little bit earlier, maybe, or get up later sometimes, and it would just mess with my clock, and her clock was even more messed up. I mean, we were tired all the time for like 5 years. Shadow Ninja 23 asks, do you think your sister will appear on Ask Think or any of your videos? Well, I don't see my sister very often. She lives in California, and I don't get out there very much. She doesn't get out here very much. But the next time she comes to visit New York, I will definitely put her in some video, hopefully an Ask Think's sister. Faith Anderson asks, what is Kopi's favorite toy? And it changes all the time. Usually it's the newest thing that she's gotten. And over the weekend, she got this stuffed cat that she's carrying around everywhere. A stuffed cat plush toy. Not a stuffed cat like, someone's cat that had died and then they stuffed it like taxidermy stuff. Like a toy, not a real cat, okay, guys? Kit Kat Forever asked, do you think if you were young enough when the first Harry Potter movie came out, you could have played Harry Potter? I mean, you do have dark hair and green eyes. That's true. The only problem with that is I'm a muggle, and I just don't think it would have worked out. Golden Lovely Dove asks, when you got Kopi, was it a pain to potty train her, and was it all new to you? It actually wasn't really hard to potty train her at all. Of course, she had accidents, but she knew what she was supposed to do within the first 24 hours. And I know that's hard to believe, but she actually knew that she wasn't supposed to go in the house within 24 hours. Which I would say would be potty trained. I mean, over the next 6 months, she still had occasional accidents, as all puppies do, but it was really, really easy to potty train her. Eric Fullon says, Think, watch Puppy Monkey Baby, and tell me what you thought of it on the next Ask Think. And if you heard the way I just pronounced that, I've already seen it. I will not watch that abomination, terrifying thing again, because it has made me not be able to see pugs in the same light for weeks now. Sequoia P asks, one day when you have a child, what would you like to name him or her? Noodle on. Just as I read that, I think it's because of all the retro games that are in my head, but I thought to myself, I would name him after a video game character, which my wife would totally not be cool with. But could you imagine, I could have my my son named Link, and then, well, I don't know if I'd name my daughter Zelda. That'd be a little weird, but I could name my daughter, Peach, or Daisy, or something like that. I mean, that would be awesome, right? I don't think she would really care for that, though. Lego Man 11 asks, why do you do YouTube instead of another job? Also, Noodle on. Well, let me ask you a question. Would you rather take a job where you're working in an office and you have to do all this programming, you have all these deadlines and things, or would you rather play video games all day for a job? I think I know the answer, and that's the same reason I choose to do YouTube. Pika-chan asks, how do YouTubers take vacations? We're normal people, so we take vacations like everyone else. But I know what you mean. I think you're asking how we upload gameplay videos when we're on vacation. Some people will just do vlogs while they're on vacation instead of putting up their usual videos. YouTubers like myself, when I go away on vacation, I know how long I'm going to be gone, and I set a schedule, and I pre-record all of my videos and upload them to my channel in advance. And then I just schedule them to be published while I'm away. So it kind of seems like I didn't go anywhere and you guys are still getting daily content. However, I'm off enjoying myself. Garrett E asks, when will you unbox the golden play button on camera? Hopefully this week. I got it on February 29th, Leap Day, which I thought, what a fitting day to get something so special. You know what I mean? Like a special day. It happens once every 4 years and I get my golden play button. That said, this thing is huge and it's heavy. So I I found a place on my wall. There's not a lot of space in my office that I can put anything that big on my wall, but I found a space. The only thing I'm worried about is it weighs, well, the shipping box weighed almost 40 pounds, and I'm worried about it pulling the wall down. Amy Gunawan asks, what is your opinion on James Yonder and the title thing, Yandere? I read the description, but what do you personally think about somebody calling their own series Yonder High School and each having their own high school series idea? Well, when James made this song, it was kind of a joke, and he sent me a copy of it on SoundCloud. And I was like, dude, you have to put that on your channel. And I'm so glad he did. Now, it's not really isolated to Yandere, I really don't know how to say that, or role plays, or, certain YouTubers' names in the titles, that sort of thing. It really circles around anything successful on YouTube is going to be copied. Just the way things are, it's so different than traditional media for many, many good reasons, and in this case, bad reasons. But in traditional media, if someone were to come out with a television show called Yonder High School, there would be tons of lawyers and copyright protection around that intellectual property. So no one could come out with, a slight variation with the same title or whatever. And also there would be no search algorithm or related video algorithm to exploit with the similar titles and descriptions and whatnot. It's just the way things go. If someone has a successful video that comes out of nowhere, or a successful series that comes out of nowhere, it just gets copied, or people try to copy the success. And it happens with all YouTubers. It's just the way that it works. I mean, trying to get any sort of advantage that you can out of the YouTube algorithm, unfortunately. Zeta Ponylake asked, what is the video that you've had the most fun making so far, and why? Well, that's really hard because it's been so long that I've been on YouTube. But as of recently, the Who's Your Daddy videos with Dan have been so much fun to make. Because while the videos you guys see are like 15 minutes, Dan and I play for at least an hour. And sometimes even when we're done recording, we play a little bit more off camera because we're having so much fun and laughing so much. Two Besties asks, do you ever get the YouTube glitch where in the middle of a YouTube video the audio keeps going but the video goes back to somewhere near the beginning? If yes, does it frustrate you too? P.S. This question was inspired by a minute or two ago. I've never had that happen, but from my understanding, it has to do with insufficient bandwidth. So the video might be streaming at 60 frames per second. I think that's probably why. Generally, that's what seems to be the issue is when it's at 60 FPS. The bandwidth requirements are so high that sometimes that happens. And I wish there was something I could do about it. And Warp and Lightning asks, what virus software do you use? Currently, nothing. I run a Mac for almost everything that I do, although I have been recording in Windows on my Mac quite a bit, but I stay away from any web browsing or anything like that, so I don't really have to worry about viruses or spyware or anything like that. That said, I just built a new computer last week, and it's ready to go on Windows 10. I mean, I still have to figure out how I'm going to do all this, but I'm definitely going to get virus software. I think AVG is pretty well recommended. Diesel20212 asks, what software do you use to record your computer screen and computer audio? Like I said before, I've been recording in Windows a lot, and I was using the inbuilt software that, well, I mean, even though it's a Mac, it has my iMac has a GTX780M. And that allows you to record using Shadowplay. It's built in to the video card. You just have to install the driver in Windows, and it works really well thus far. As far as my new PC, I could do the same because I've got a 980 Ti in it, but my plan is to actually use my Elgato. So I'll be doing the gameplay on the PC, but it will be sending the video stream to my Mac so I can edit it on my Mac. Commander Biffle asks, how do you record your Wii U? Just as I said before, these are all linked together very well. I use my Elgato Game Capture HD 60. Adams Gaming World asks, any games in mind for the future? Well, it's wide open now. My new PC, once I get everything set up and properly running so that everything is reliable, I can play just about anything. I've already tried Arc on it, and it plays really well. Much better than my Mac. Obviously, with the 980 Ti, you can play just about anything. So, yeah, the future's wide open for game choices. Pablo Mena asks, now that you finished Undertale, you figured to buy the soundtrack? If so, which songs did you buy, and which are your favorite? Well, I bought the whole thing. I bought the whole album. And my favorite song is Hope and Dreams. Jarrett Craft HD asks, how do you use Cam Studio mod when you're making things live? Do you have someone with the mod or something? No. So what I use with the Cam Studio mod is, I just set the waypoints, and then I go to my spot where I'm going to be or do something, and then I start the camera, and then I do my thing in third person. So what you guys see in the Cam Studio mod is actually what I'm seeing on my screen. So it makes some things a little hard because you're sort of trying to orient yourself and navigate while you're looking at yourself through the camera. Lucky Block Lover says, I think I have a question. In the episode of Things Live called Kevin String Tray, is our mod compatible with 1.7.10? I can't find a page where it is available in that version. And I think that was the Gulliver mod. Pretty sure. I think it was. Yeah, and that wasn't updated past 1.6.4, unfortunately. Andrea Helena asks, hey Vink, I noticed in the first episode of your Noodle Planet, your skin was your Tropica skin. Why did you change it? Because it was terrible. I mean, I kind of kept the hair look a little bit, but the rest of it was just, it was a really bad skin. I just didn't like it that much when I looked at it. I'm a noodler. Noodleon says, wait, you wear size 12 and you're like 50? I wear size 10 and I'm only 12. What does this mean? I'm going to be a Bigfoot? Hey, I'm not old. I'm old school. All right, guys, that's it for this episode of Ask Think. Don't forget to leave your questions in the comments below so I can have something to answer in the next episode. I'll see you guys again soon. Thanks for watching. And of course, Noodle Line.